Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
I thank you very much for tuning in today to That Will Never Work podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, we've been laughing the whole time we've been in the green room. But our guest for today has had an illustrious career, holding titles such as President and CEO. He is a dynamic sales and operations expert with over 3 decades of industry proficiency and a keen understanding of what it takes to turn your passion into a thriving business. He also possesses an unwavering commitment to community, mentorship, and sustainable business growth. He is a visionary at heart and standing at the forefront of reshaping the tire industry. He spearheaded SearchTires.com with a core mission to empower consumers with transparent, out-the-door tire pricing while championing local retailers who form the backbone of the communities. We thank you very much for tuning in. I'll bring none other to you than Timothy Schaffer. Tim, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Maurice. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Sure, no problem. So like I said, we've been laughing and joking, behind in the green room. And, in there, we've been talking about sports and things like that and, how you might have missed out on opportunities, right? But you stuck with it. Some people you might not still talk to today, but that's just a transition space, right? And I'm saying that I'm preluding to that because of sometimes in business, we have to understand what our roles are, where we are, where we're growing, and how we want to get there, right? So, and sometimes we get people that might deter us from our passion because they're negative Nancy's, right? So how did you stay connected to your passion to turn into a thriving business?
Well, I think in any business they do, turning your passion into a business is a process. And I allude it to like a roller coaster because, sometimes, man, it's looking good. You're going up that roller coaster. Then sometimes you take a dive. Now, to getting to the success, and I say this to everybody that I've dealt with, I've dealt with a lot of failure with this passion of this project right here. There was another existence of this earlier in the 2012 era, and it got a lot of traction and stuff, but it never amounted to anything because one of the things is when you have a team to build something and it comes out the way you want it, but you didn't, even though you thought you understood exactly what the people wanted and you put that on the court, it's not exactly what they wanted. So I went through that, and that was a failure. I learned a lot of lessons from it. And then I think the important thing is I always remain passionate about it. I've never strayed from the passion. I just said, hey, like Edison said, I found out 10,000 ways not to do the light bulb until I found a way. So then I took probably 6 to 7 years off of that passion. It's still burned inside me every single day. How do you do it? And then in that 6 or 7 years, me and my partner, we started basically a digital marketing company. And I learned a lot more instead of customers standing at a counter, I learned what customers online were really looking for. And what they're looking for is convenience and getting the information they know quickly without you invading their privacy and going to get what they need. Right. So then after learning that through that process, hey, it's time to rebuild it. And we're going to rebuild it a different way. And we're going to make it non-invasive to consumers. It's going to make it 4 steps. 4 steps, they click and they search. And guess what? They see all the tire retailers in their area and the prices. They can compare them all, select the one they want, and then they can click the call, click for directions or click to their website. That's it. That's all we do. We don't make money off that at all. We're just it's a community business. And why I said that is that when I was telling you before in the green room is that I grew up in a small town,
Right.
and all we had was our community. So I'm trying to make it's a big business in every state and every city and everything. However, it's community based because it's talking about taking people that need tires now and getting them to their local retailers to get the tires, because there's so many people jumping into the market that are, I call them e-tailers. They sell tires online and they're taking them sales away from.
Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest. There's something so thrilling about playing Chumba Casino. Maybe it's the simple reminder that with a little luck, anything is possible. ChumbaCasino.com has hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from with new game releases each week. Play for free anytime, anywhere for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The actual brick and mortar people that employ the local people, support local little league teams, pay their local taxes. And I just think that's an unfair advantage. I think there's a place for it for specialty tires, but for everyday tires, when someone needs to go to, you need to go to talk to someone in your community that's actually helping the community thrive and grow. And these people are not in your community and they're shipping tires to them. And it's like, I equate it to like, you know, you got a favorite restaurant. We all do. Who's going to like it if you walk in with your own steak and say, hey man, can you cook that up? I'll pay you $5 instead of paying them $40 for the steak you're going to get.
Right.
So that was kind of the process behind the second build of this. We changed a lot of things and made it very consumer friendly and not evasive at all. I mean, it's just or invasive at all. It's really simple. The average person stays on our site for 4 minutes and 11 seconds and they get what they need, and 30% of the people convert, and we only have a 15% bounce rate, which is phenomenal. That means that people are there looking for tires. They're there about business. They go through the thing and they pick what they want and they go. And that's exactly what I want. I want to get them right to their local retailers.
So I understand that you're talking about the local businesses, right? So I'm going to use my own community, right? And so now I'm in my community. I'm going to this particular store. I'm looking at their tires. But guess what? They don't have the size in my area. You know, and I've been running into that a lot, not just with tires, but other things as well. So I'm going to be honest with you. I've been defaulting to Tire Rack. I'll just use them as an example, right? Now, granted, I am outside of Philly. Their warehouse is maybe 20, 25 minutes from my house, down 95, right? You know, so it's a little easier for me. I can go down there and pick them up, all that type of stuff. So so sometimes looking at some, like you said, some of those e-tailers, it can be a disadvantage, right? But I just know that some of my local people don't have it in stock. So how do I deal with something like that?
Well, Tire Rack is on our site. They're the only e-tailer that's on our site because they're owned by Discount Tire. So Discount Tire owns Tire Rack now. So even though it is that, but your size, if you search on our site for your size, you should be able to find retailers that have the size. But the other thing that you brought up, and for you can do it. You can go down and pick up the tires. But how many customers, 44% of our customers are women, not saying that they can do less than anybody else, but they can drive their car down and put 4 tires in their car and then drive it over to the and I don't think a lot of guys will either. So you're lucky to have that, to be able to do that. And a lot of people can't. The other part is Tire Rack is really good. There's no doubt, but they deliver to the retailer. They can deliver the tires to the retailer, so I've ran many stores over 300. What do you do when you pull up on that store and you go in there and they only have 3 of the tires, or the tires they have are wrong, or they're the wrong size? Guess what? They're shipping them back to Tire Rack, and then they're going to ship them back to the store. But you know who the customer gets mad at? The store. Right. And they're like, hey, they just delivered them here. I didn't order them. You did. So that point of contention is a tough one to work through. But what I always did is when it happened to me, I'd always like, hey, you got these tires? How much you pay for them? Look, we got this tire in stock right now. We'll get them on. And most times that happened. Not all times, but most times. But if you have a really odd size, sometimes it's difficult for the local retailer, because it's all about turning your tires. You want to turn every tire in your warehouse 90 days because then you have to pay for it. Now, in your certain size, they might not going to be selling that thing for once a year. So for them to invest the money into stocking that tire, see, that's a whole nother animal, right?
Right.
So that's another thing you can look at too. But your local retailers can order them too, though. So yeah. And a lot of times the local retailers are less expensive than than Tire Rack. Tire Rack does have good sales on some stuff, but like I said, they're needed. They're a good company. I'm not here to bash any of the companies, but I'm just saying, my job is to give the consumer an option, and they got their options, and they know what their out the door price is before they show up. Because one of the biggest things too is with a lot of tire sites that sell tires, they show people the tire prices, and then they go down there and like, hold on, what's this other extra $150? Well, we got to mount them and balance them. You want alignment? It's another $100. I mean, and then they're thinking, no, I'm only supposed to pay $400. It said $400 for 4 tires. Well, you got all these other things, and then there's state taxes, shop fees, state tire fees. I mean, so what I tried to do is I tried to make that consumer experience better. On our website, sourcetires.com, we list all them prices. So we give you out the door prices. So when you go down there and it said the average tires set of 4 tires right now is $690. If it says $690, when you go down there, it's $690. And that's the win, right? The customer, we set their expectations properly so they don't have to get mad at the store. They don't have to get mad at anybody. It's like, hey, this is what it is. And, additionally, if they want to talk to them about alignments and stuff, obviously they know that's extra, but their tires will be put on their car for that price.
So, and I think that's one thing that what you're referring to is understanding the customer, understanding customer service, and puts not just your organization in a good light, but also puts them in a good light as well. Because now you don't have, as you're stating, you don't have all them extra fees or them hidden costs and, because everybody thinks that everybody's worried about the bottom line. Well, you didn't tell me that like you say, I have to do all this because, and then not understanding, hey, I got to get it balanced. I got to do this. And, so it's all those things that we don't always take into consideration when we're looking for these tires, how long it's going to take, all those type of things. So I appreciate that type of service that you provide because, like I said, not only puts you in a good light, but makes our local stores look better as well.
It's about one of my biggest things, and I say it all the time to my guys and consumers or anybody I talk to, and I really believe this from the bottom of my heart. Transparency is trust. Be transparent. Everybody the automotive ranks very high in people. I think going to get your car serviced or tires is second behind paying your taxes. No one gets up in the morning and says, man, I can't wait to get down to the tire store to spend some money on my car. No one. I mean, enthusiasts do that.
Go ahead.
So no one wakes up in the morning and they're excited about, hey, let's go buy some tires down at the tire store. No one wakes up and is thinking like that. I mean, enthusiasts, yes, maybe. But the normal person is not looking forward to going down to the tire store. And to mitigate some of that anxiousness about going down there, because everybody's always anxious about what they're going to tell me is wrong with my car. At least the out the door price of buying your 4 tires at a minimum. So you're starting off very good. And not a lot of times, but sometimes you may have chosen the wrong tire for your car too. And when you explain to the salesman, if they're good salesmen, they can say, well, you drive highway or you don't drive that much. They might be able to put you in a tire that's less expensive that fits your needs a little bit better. You don't know, but I mean, the object of what I try to do is I get people to try to select the tire that they need and get down to the store and then talk to that professional about, their driving habits and what they may want or what they don't want. Because sometimes people select tires and then they may only drive 10 miles a day or maybe only 3 times a week. And it's like, well, how long are you going to keep the car? There's so many things that go into that to like addressing how much do you really need to spend on tires? I mean, there's some people that drive quite a bit like me, and I'm going to go down there and I'm going to put, the best tire on my car. But there's some people that like, hey, I'm selling this car in 3 months or I don't drive it, but this much time. So, there's all varying factors of getting it right. So, so what we do is we basically we're getting people to go down there and get to the store and get the right advice. And the tire they chose might be right for them. It might be the one, but most of the time it probably is, but what I'm saying is there's always different levels of getting you into that store and talking to that professional, and then at the same time you don't have to wait any days to get your tires shipped or anything. You just get it put on today,
And I
So
think stuff like that,
that's the service.
as you talk about transparency, because a lot of times we don't know who to trust right now. It's a whole lot of misinformation, misdirection, all that type of stuff, in the world. So I think that helps build our community, right? As long as we are supporting everyone. And then that's your best marketing too, word of mouth.
I mean, we've grown our site unbelievably, not from spending. We've always had the same ad spend, but we've grown 6 times, and a lot of it's from people telling people. And one of the things too it's really needs to be known is, you don't know what you don't know, right? So back in the day when I started in the business in the mid '80s, they were always taught to just quote the price of the tire. So back then, if someone said it's $50 a tire, it's $200 for a set of tires.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
And then when the customer got in, then you had to explain, well, there's mounting, balancing, and all that stuff. So for a lot of times, the customer would always say that's misleading. I mean, I've seen that in person. So another reason, I mean, I always thought about that, and then I always said, well, I want them to know exactly. That's about the transparency, right? I mean, that's just the way the market was back then, and that's what everybody thought, because they weren't innovative. They're just like, they asked how much the tires were. They didn't ask how much to put on, but that's a bad customer experience. So provide them with as much information as you can and get them in the store and let them talk about it. I mean, and then there's other options. There's financing options and all the other stuff, and we're not going to get into that either. Our job is to have a customer see what the market pricing is on their tires and see how much it is out the door. Select one and get down there, and then they can cover all that additional stuff that may or may not need, or alignments and financing options that help you in a better place and get them tires put on.
So I'm listening to you talk about customer service. I listen to you talk about quality and all these things, loyalty, things like that. But what made you really get into tires? I mean, because you wouldn't think about all these different components, right? Think about just tires. So what made you even consider getting into the tire industry as a whole?
Well, when I was young, I always liked tinkering with engines and stuff like that. And I basically started working on anything, my motorcycle, lawnmowers, anything I can get my hand on to rip apart. And so by the age of 16, I was working at a gas station, and I was a fuel transfer engineer. I mean, gas pumper.
That was nice.
But anyway,
that's nice.
Did that. Then I kept begging the owner to let me, work in the back, because I wanted to work on cars. And then I started changing oil. And then by the age of 19, I was a master technician. So I really love cars, everything about cars.
Okay.
Sometimes they're a pain, but so through that, and then I progressed into owning my own companies, working for some of the biggest in the country, and then owning my own companies again. But I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. So to me, I always wanted to own my own business. But so the question was, what drove me to it is basically, I love cars, and then I want to help people. And the biggest expense generally that people have on maintenance on their cars is tires. So I wanted to provide a way for them to not be as anxious about it, be able to see the out the door pricing and go down and get them put on. And, like I said, the first iteration of that failed because I was trying to please two sides, but now I'm customer driven. And so it's all about taking care of the customer. And in 4 minutes and 11 seconds, I can do that. So they know what they know what they're going to get. They can print it out, the out the door price, go down and schedule an appointment, get them put on. And so that's why I'm here. And because I think, to me, it's bigger than just the site. It's about helping them get down to that community so they can pay their rent, so they can pay their employees. Because you think about it, this is the you say you go down and you pick up your tires and then you go put them on. Okay, that's cool. But think about this: if everybody did that, Tire Rack would not be in business because they need these people that pay their rent and to people to install the tires. And if they're going to take all the tire sales away from them, they're not going to be there because they can't afford to be there.
Right.
So that's the issue, is when you take it away from the person, the actual person that actually installs them, and you don't make a lot of money on tires, by the way, but when you take that away from them, that's just another piece of the puzzle that makes it harder for them to stay in business. Because some shops do 100 tires a day.
Yeah.
Some do even more. So you think about it, if you're 20 points on 100 tires a day and it's 700 things, 72, that's, $140 times, that's a lot of money in a day to be given up. And you got to be paying your employees, and you got to be providing them benefits, and they have insurance, their wives have babies, or their husbands, are working too. And it's just like, so that's what drives me. It drives me I think that brings it full circle to help the people that are actually in that community, again, sporting little league, volleyball, whatever it may be. Them community sponsors, it's nice to see that. And and that's how I grew up. And maybe, sometimes I'm a little naive, but I always, I love seeing local little league teams sponsored by local businesses. It's just a good feeling. It's like, hey, we can help out the kids do something. So,
and I think that's important. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, with me being a former little league football and basketball coach, so I totally understand. Looking at my daughter playing lacrosse and my son playing soccer. So I agree with you. Like, you like to see that support in the community. But a lot of times, because of some of these conglomerates that come in and they kind of take over a little bit. But then next thing you know, that particular store, so like, unfortunately in my area, one of the Pep Boys closed. So now these conglomerates that might come in, wipe out the mom and pop shops, quote unquote, right?
Right.
And now all of a sudden that conglomerate now is gone. So now you're stuck with nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's
it does happen, but they do have budgets for this kind of stuff. I mean, I've worked for some of the big companies and consulted for a lot of them. They do have budgets for it. So it's just you have to press that manager a little bit. And I get where you're going, because when I own my businesses, I built up to 3 stores. And one of the most prideful things, I mean, my son played little league and stuff like that, but one of the most prideful things I can have is when I go to the little league thing and I see my sponsor team out there and my son's out there playing, and maybe not, he wasn't on my team, he was sponsored by somebody else. Weirdly enough. But I just that it made me proud to see that, and it made me proud that I was part of the community. And plus it helps you as advertising. I mean, there's days, so you coach, so that sometimes you have to bring drinks and stuff like that. All that stuff's getting more and more expensive. Oh yeah. And if you can provide some of that stuff, I mean, I remember, back before all the health conscious stuff, I used to buy a ton of hot dogs for the kids after the game and let them eat the hot dogs and, and have a soda. I mean, but I thrived in that. I like that, because I like that sense of helping each other achieve a common goal of getting better and building as a community. And I like that kind of foundation. And I know that there's conglomerates that come in, but they still have budgets for that. And there's still, one of the things I say too is that it's 100% about people, right? It's just, you got to build that relationship, and you got to make them understand why it's important to the community and why you should be part of it. If you can get through that, I mean, a lot of them, you got to have the manager of that, because the manager is going to talk to his district manager, his regional manager, his divisional vice president, and then it's like a chain, but it can be done, and it's still, to me, it's heartwarming. I like I said, I might be a little naive about it, and I know that there's these big companies, but that's the way it should be to me.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I mean, and I appreciate, because sometimes it's hard to come across someone who's so concerned about the community. Even in your business building stages, you're still worried about the person next door to you. You care about them. You're not trying to wipe them out and destroy them or whatever it is. Yes, competition is good, right? Yeah. But, and it's fair it's good as long as it's fair. So it shouldn't be a point where I have to wipe all of you out in order for me to make money. That part I think is the unfair part, and I appreciate you considering that as you're moving forward and helping out all of us because everyone doesn't understand tires. We don't know
No.
that the date for the that when it was created or on the shelf is on the tire, and what is A and H and this and that. Like, it's all these little pieces to the
Speed
tire.
ratings,
Right.
of the tires, EPQG, DOT numbers. Unfortunately, I know all that stuff, and it really bothers me sometimes when I'm driving down the road and I know the size on everybody's car.
But yeah, so I appreciate you, I appreciate you coming on. So Tim, please let everyone know where they can find you, if they need a tire, especially one that's in the community, where can they find you and find your website?
Just go to searchtires.com. We're all over the United States, and it would be more than happy to show you the best price in your area, and it might not have to be the best price. It might be the tire, but if you select a tire, it's for the best price. I mean, when you select a tire, it shows you all the retailers that have it and the prices. So you get what you want, and you get to get where you want to go. So, it's putting the decision in your hands. So searchtires.com, and we don't charge anything. We're 100% free. We don't ask for your name, address, email. We don't ask for any of that stuff. We're just there to help.
Cool, man. I appreciate you, man. So before I let you go, I got to ask you the question, man. My would you rather question. So, Tim, would you rather choose 3 doors or a fork in the road?
Fork in the road.
Okay. Any particular reason why?
Well, I hate to, this may not be popular with some people, but for me, I still believe this. In the Bible, there's a fork in the road. You can choose your path. So to me, it's always about chasing the path. You can take the high road or you can take the low road.
Okay.
That's how it equates to me. It may be different than other people, but I think that, especially in this world today, even if you don't have to agree with anybody, but it doesn't mean that you don't get along. And there's so much divisiveness in our world these days. And I think that I always believe that all the people that I talk to, and I talk to a ton of people, I don't see any of that stuff. I really don't. I mean, everybody has different plights, but I just think that generally people want to be good with people. I think that maybe some people try to drive that wedge for political reasons and stuff, and I just don't like it, man. I just want us to be able to help each other do the right thing, and just, I always say it's not about being right, it's about doing the right thing.
So first, I have to say that I really, really appreciate your response, because no one else has come from that perspective. That's number one. Number two, I agree with you that no matter what you believe, how you feel, I think that we all should be able to respect the other person, their opinion, their viewpoint, because we can't change anything if we don't come with that level of respect. Now, granted, unless you say something off the wall that Garner's had, you get what I mean? But if you come with that level of respect first, hopefully that person will return it to you, and you can have a decent dialogue one way or the other, right? But you don't have to agree to, at the end of the day, you agree to disagree and keep it moving.
Exactly. I mean, some people like LeBron, some people like Jordan. Everybody knows Jordan's right, but anyway.
Right.
So one of the last things I would say to you in this is, I always try to get this in on podcasts, is that the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life is chasing money. It's not about chasing money. It's like my grandfather used to say this to me, and it's true. And he only went to school to 4th grade, and in 4th grade he became a coal miner. So he said, find something you love, do what you love, and if you're the best at what you do, the money is a byproduct of what you do. So he didn't say byproduct; he said it in a different way.
I got you. I say
byproduct, but so I made a mistake in my career, and I've chased money, and I'm saying chase your passion, and turn your passion into something that you can display to the people that's helpful. And convenience is king. Convenience will never die. If you can provide convenience to people, that's what people are looking for. It doesn't matter what the widget is, right?
Right.
Just help people and just be helpful and and always be open to instruction, man.
Right.
That's what I was saying. Got to be open. I learn new stuff every day.
And see, I think that's the thing that as well, everyone is not open to that. Everyone is not open to learning something new.
Especially now, it's crazy.
Right. So as I'm listening to you, sometimes you got to be reminded, hey, I have to remember my brother or my sister that's right next to me, and yes, my business might be doing just a little bit better than yours, but there might be a way that I can bring more business to you as well. Because there's enough out here for everybody to grow. Let's be honest.
There's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt.
It really is. So, and that's the point of this show. Hey, we're helping each other out, no matter what the situation is. Everything is mad love and respect, and cordial, and just try to keep everything upbeat. Yes, we're talking about business that could be a little heavy sometimes for some of us, but the idea is that, hey, like you said, we all have a passion. We all want to help somebody, and that's the purpose of this show. So, Tim, I thank you very much for coming on today and sharing your passion with us.
Thanks, Maurice. I appreciate it. I want to come back in 6 months. We'll talk some more.
Look, man, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. So, but, thank y'all very much for listening to That Will Never Work podcast. Of course, the website and everything for Tim will be in the show notes, and I will talk to you a little later.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. And now I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.